Most people see the Bible as a massive, dusty library, 66 different books, written by 40 different authors over 1,500 years. On the surface, it looks like a chaotic collection of fragments, ancient legal codes, bloody war stories, cryptic poetry, and strange visions of multi-headed beasts. From the outside, it's a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing and no box top to show you what it's supposed to look like. But what if I told you there is a single, microscopic thread, a hidden architectural blueprint that starts in the very first chapter of Genesis and doesn't resolve until the final page of Revelation? Today, we aren't just looking at Sunday school stories. We are uncovering the grand unified theory of the Scriptures. We're revealing the one secret that connects every single page of the Bible, the story of the failed garden, the relentless king, and the architecture of home. To understand this, we have to start at the beginning, but we have to look through a lens you've probably never used. In the opening chapters of Genesis, we find Eden. But here's the secret. Eden wasn't just a park. In the ancient world, the way Eden is described, on a mountain with gold and precious stones and a river flowing out of it, tells us exactly what it was. It was a temple. It was the sacred space where heaven and earth overlapped. It was a place of shalom, not just peace, but total integrated wholeness. And in this garden temple, humanity was given a royal appointment. Adam and Eve weren't just gardeners, they were image bearers. Now, that's a kingly term. They were meant to be the bridge between the divine and the physical, expanding the borders of that garden until the whole world was a temple. But then the fracture happens. And this is where most people miss the point. The core tragedy of the Bible isn't just that people broke a rule, it's that we lost our home. We were exiled. From Genesis chapter 3 onwards, the Bible becomes a story of homelessness. Every single story that follows is a desperate, heartbeat-thumping attempt to get back to that sacred space. Once you see this, the boring parts of the Bible suddenly become electric. Think about the patterns. Why does Noah build an altar on a mountain? He's trying to reach Eden. Why does Moses meet God in a burning bush? It's a plant on fire with the presence of God. It's a tiny, localized piece of Eden, breaking back into a dying world. When Israel finally builds the tabernacle, God gives them blueprints that seem obsessive. But look closer. The walls are carved with flowers and palm trees. The lampstand is shaped like a tree. The entrance faces east, just like the Gate of Eden. Why? Because the tabernacle was a portable Eden. It was a way for a holy God to live among a broken people without destroying them. It was a welcome home sign in the middle of a desert. But there's a second layer to the secret, the seed mystery. In Genesis 3:15, right after the fall, God makes a cryptic promise to the serpent. He says that a seed, a specific descendant of the woman, will one day crush the serpent's head, though his own heel will be bruised in the process. This is the first gospel, the DNA of the entire Bible. From that moment on, the Old Testament becomes a high-stakes detective story. The reader is meant to scan every generation asking, is this the one? Is this the seed who will fix the world? The Bible then takes us through a gallery of almosts. Is it Noah? He saves humanity from the flood, but the first thing he does afterward is get drunk and shamed in a tent. He's not the one. Is it Abraham? He's the father of faith, but he lies about his wife because he's afraid. He's not the one. Is it Moses? He leads them out of slavery, but he loses his temper and dies in the wilderness. Is it David? He's the greatest king Israel ever had, but his house falls into murder and adultery. The secret the Bible is whispering through these failures is that the solution cannot come from within the system. The Bible isn't a book of heroes to copy. It's a book of failures waiting for a specific successor. It's a 4,000-year-long help wanted sign. This brings us to the Great Convergence. Everything changes when a carpenter from Nazareth stands up. If you look at the life of Jesus through this Eden thread, the details become explosive. The New Testament authors aren't just telling a biography. They are showing the systematic reversal of the curse. Consider the symmetry that runs like a golden thread through the biblical narrative. In the primal Garden of Eden, humanity's first defiant act, reaching for forbidden knowledge, draws a curse upon the ground. Thorns and thistles erupt, making even the earth adversarial. Millennia later, that curse reemerges in a crown of thorns, pressed into the brow of Jesus as he ascends Golgotha. It's not just a cruel irony, it's a declaration. The one on the cross is absorbing the pain of history, taking the curse into his own flesh, allowing it to pierce him so it might be healed. There is another echo from Eden, shame. When Adam and Eve become aware of their nakedness, they hide, behind leaves, behind trees, ultimately behind distance from God. Centuries spiral by, and now the second Adam, Jesus, is exposed to the world, stripped of covering, of dignity, of friends. He hangs on the cross in utter vulnerability, bearing the full weight of public shame, not for his own guilt, but to clothe those first fugitives and all their children with a new kind of acceptance. The hiding ends here. Recall the exile from Eden. In sorrow, Adam and Eve are exiled away from the tree of life, longing for lost wholeness. On the cross, Jesus, called in the scriptures the "cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree," becomes the exile. He is cast outside the city, bearing the punishment so humanity can return. He bridges the chasm, hanging on a wooden tree as a ransom for lost wanderers. Now notice the geography. The first Adam's rebellion took place in a garden, where he chose his own will and brought darkness into paradise. The last Adam, Jesus, kneels in a different garden, Gethsemane, and this time his prayer is surrender. Thy will be done. Where the first garden was forfeit to death, the second yields life as resurrection bursts from a new empty tomb. And in a quiet dawn, Mary Magdalene mistakes Jesus for a gardener. This is not just a detail, it's a punchline for the attentive. The gardener's back, beginning the story anew. Here lies the secret. Jesus is not merely a wise teacher or suffering martyr. He is the new Adam, retracing the steps of Eden, confronting every shadow, overturning each failure. He accepts the bruised heel of death, fulfilling the ancient prophecy, so he can crush the serpent's head and break the power that holds creation captive. But the narrative does not end with return to the original innocence. If you read to the Bible's conclusion, you find imagery deliberately mirroring Genesis, a river of life, trees whose fruit heals nations, and God among his people. Yet this is no restored garden, it's a city. The story moves from innocence, garden, through exile and rescue, to purposeful completion, city. The garden is sown with hope, but the city rises with fulfillment, culture, creativity, work, and worship, all woven into a more glorious tapestry than before. This is the deepest secret, the thread that pulls the whole poetic arc together. The Bible is not a code to unlock or a manual of rules, but a unified drama about a king who refuses to abandon his exiled people. Every rule, every prophecy, every bloodline threads back to the garden and forward to the city,